And we are live and good afternoon. Welcome back. This is the Thursday free show with Dave Kauffman. I'm so glad you're here. We have an exciting topic today. It's 11 ways to build strong, lasting business relationships. So I'm going to give a chance for everybody to join in, hop on, share, all of that good stuff, and wait for a couple of people to come on. As you're coming on, go ahead and type in where you're listening from, what state or country, and I'll be giving some shout outs on the way in. So I have the comment section open. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, and we're on the conference call line as well. So go ahead as you're watching, log on and type in where you're watching from. And share this video as well. Appreciate that. Let's see if we can get a couple more people on before we get started here. I know it's a busy time of the year for everybody. Spring is starting to come on, so but I do appreciate each one that comes onto my lives and shares it. You are my fans, and I appreciate that. Those that share. You want to be cool, just share the video. That's all I ask. All right, got it's loading up. I see you coming on. I appreciate it. Waiting on some comments. Let me know that you can hear me because I changed my mic up a little bit. So Sheldon, I guess obviously you can hear me. Welcome. And he's from Indiana as well. So there we go. We got some people coming on. Thanks for sharing it. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get started as people load up on the conference call as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. My name is Dave Kauffman, and I'm coming to you live from my home in Sarasota. So I have 11 ways to build strong relationships. Javen Raber from Sugar Creek, Ohio, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. 11 ways to build strong, lasting business relationships. And I'm going to go ahead and put these on the ticker here. Number one is to be authentic, okay? Number one is to be authentic. It's one of the most important things that you can do in any kind of relationship, even in your marriage or at home or family or whatever, in business especially. Just be authentic. Don't try to be something that you're not. Zig Ziglar used to say this, that you can make a terrible somebody else, but only you can make a terrific you. And so just be you. Focus on becoming a better person that you are. So Aiden Raber, I suppose. It says Raider. Hey, Dave. Appreciate you coming on. I appreciate it a lot. So the first one is be authentic. Okay. But before we get into it, I kind of jumped the gun here. There's I have my papers here in front of me. But, you know, here's an alert. I want you to understand this, that business relationships aren't easy. Just like any relationship isn't easy. You have to work for it. It doesn't just happen. So you have to really work for it. And you know, it takes a dedicated amount of time, energy, and money. Yes, money to build good, solid business relationships. Some of the best business relationships I've had or have, I've spent money to have that relationship. Anything of value will cost something. And so if a relationship is of value, it should cost you something, either time, energy, or money. So, you know, it takes hard work, it takes dedication, and it takes energy to build lasting relationships. And they don't just happen and develop without a dedicated, consistent work. So, you know, think about your network. Think about the people that you have in your business relationship. And I promise you, that's where your net worth is coming from. Your network defines your net work. And so we have to find that balance of being givers and takers. We can't just give or take. We have to have both. Far too many people don't ask for help when they need it, and that can be fatal in small businesses. So learn how to ask for help. Stan Labadee, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And guys, go ahead and share this video. Get this out to as many people. So the first one is be authentic. You know, it's pretty simple, but who you are or be who you are and accept others for who they are. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in one of the other points. But find people and companies you feel a natural connection with, and here's the thing: you can smell inauthentic. What is that word? Um, the lack of being authentic. I know there's a word for it. I can't get it out of my mouth right now, but you can smell that a mile away. When somebody is not being who they truly are and they're trying to be somebody else, you can actually detect that a mile away. Harvey Miller says, "I love your feeds. You should make a recording and make a podcast." Yes, I should. And I probably will some point. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So here's the deal: you have to be authentic. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to be something that you're not. Just be authentic. You know, find people and companies you feel a natural connection with and ease of communication with, and things you both have in common. The authenticity of connecting personality, beliefs, and point of view can accelerate your business. Okay, so just be authentic, be who you are. Don't try to be anybody else. Number two, let's click on that and you'll see them on the bottom. Number two is identify shared goals and values. Okay, so as you go out and meet people at a networking event, so let's pretend we're all just at a networking event. As you go out, go ahead. Jose Vengas, thank you for that. Inauthenticity. That's right. I knew that's what I was trying to say, but non-original. Thanks. I love you guys. Thanks for helping us out there. I appreciate it. But inauthenticity, that's what I was having a hard time formulating. Sometimes I just do that. I should be a speaker, Anyway, identifying and sharing goals and values. So as you're going out at a networking event and you start sharing and you start talking and being authentic. Hey, this person likes the same stuff I like, is in the same world, the same industry, or we share the goals and the values that with each other. And so it's really important to connect with those kinds of people. So we seek out people in life we like, share similar goals and values with. Are they honest, kind, knowledgeable, helpful? How do they treat others? This is about moral character. So how people treat others. I've gone out to eat with some people that treated their server like trash, and I won't go out to eat with them anymore because that's not who I want to be identified with. And so I want to be identified with people that are generous, that are grateful. And so, I have to attach myself to those kinds of people. So do we respect them? I've sadly seen too many people present themselves one way only to take advantage of people once they have their trust. Guys, I could go off on LinkedIn right now. Do you know how many LinkedIn requests I have to connect? And before I can even hit connect, there's something in my inbox that they're trying to sell me. Like, stop that already, because I don't buy things from people I don't have a relationship with. And so going back to the beginning of this talk, everything in life, everything in business, everything is about relationships. The fact that you're listening to me is because we have a relationship of some kind. It might be through the book or through my articles or through my Facebook Lives, but I promise you we have some kind of a relationship. And that's where we can connect, is by identifying those shared goals and values. Because let's say that I would be someone that uses curse words every other word like some speakers do, which I have zero respect for, by the way. And my values were just totally opposite of yours, you probably would not find yourself coming onto my Facebook Lives time after time and supporting me and sharing the videos, because my values are so far away from yours. So we have that shared value, and it's called decency, it's called character, it's called respect and integrity, and all of the above. Okay. So, we have to learn how to identify those goals and values, because that's when two people can have what I call that zzz. You know what I mean? You ever have a in a networking event or something, and you meet somebody and you have what you call a zip, zzz. It's like you attracted to each other and you like that person and that person likes you. It's because you've identified those shared goals and values. Okay. And then the next step is develop mutual respect. Listen, you can't develop mutual respect without identifying those mutual goals and values. So that it's kind of going in order. If you're thinking about at a networking event, you have to be authentic. That's going to attract people to you. And then you identify shared goals and values. It might be as simple as, well, tell me about your pets. And they say, well, I have a dog. I also have a dog. What kind of dog do you have? And it's literally connecting on a shared goal, value, what we enjoy, hobbies. It can be hobbies. And I think about that acronym FORM, FORM. Somebody type that into the chat box here. FORM, FORM. F stands for family. So tell me about your family. Okay, that's a way to start opening up and talking about those shared values. Tell me about your family. FORM. And then after that, you say occupation. Occupation. What is your occupation? What do you do for a living? And then you talk about that, and you connect and you talk about recreation. FORM. Okay, so R stands for recreation. What do you do for fun? I think it's important. We're going to talk about that a little bit later here. I think it's important to have fun in life and in business. And then the M stands for motivation. What motivates you? What is it that I can help you, or how can I promote you and motivate you to even do more? So FORM. Harvey Miller says studies show that people will make within $2 to $3,000 a year of what their closest 5 friends make. So yeah, I want to be friends with you. There you go, Harvey. Anytime, brother. Anytime. All right. So you have to develop that mutual respect. And, it takes a lot of time unless someone is referred to you by a trusted connection. But you have to learn how to build that respect and to ask for that respect as well. So join a chamber, professional group, or an online community, they're all great environments to develop relationships. Be patient, selective, and watch people in action as they communicate. Listen, I used to go to all kinds of networking events back in the day, back when I was just getting started, and I would watch for people that I couldn't find 10 minutes later. Like I would see somebody and I'm like, okay, and then look around and 10 minutes later that person is not there. That tells me that person is moving and he's shaking hands. He wants to meet people. And so I would go to those people. The people that stand on the outside of the networking room against the walls, and you can just look over there every 10 minutes and they're still there. They are not excited about their business. They're not excited about movement, most likely. Sometimes they get caught up in a long conversation, but some people just go to a network event and want people to come to them. That's not true networking. True networking is going out, being authentic, identifying shared goals and values, developing mutual respect. And then number four, let's put that up on the board here. Develop, well, I don't know how that happened. Share some vulnerabilities. Share some vulnerability. And so after you've gone through all the other previous steps that we talked about, say, you know what, there's one thing that my company is struggling with. We're struggling with, it could be, hiring people, or it could be production. It could be maintenance issues. It could be cash flow. I mean, listen, businesses have struggles. Businesses have struggles. Let's get that out on the table. I know my business has struggles. Your business has struggles. It wouldn't be a business if we didn't have challenges and things to overcome. But as you build that relationship, when you share your vulnerability with somebody, guess what? They're going to say something like, hey, I've dealt with that very same thing, or I'm dealing with that very same thing. Here's what we did. In fact, you need to meet so-and-so that can help you overcome that. And then the next one kind of ties right into that. It is, and I'm not sure how, let's just go back to that one right there. The next one, number 5, is I've got your back. Okay. When you share some vulnerability, guess what happens? Usually that person says, hey, I'm dealing with the same thing, or we dealt with the same thing. Or they might say, well, that's not really my challenge. My challenge in my business is this. And it gives you an opportunity to say, hey, listen, you know what? I know somebody that can help you do that. I've got your back. And when you have that kind of relationship going on where that person knows that you have his or her best interest in mind in a business relationship, guess what they're going to do? They're going to start referring people to you as well that can help you with your challenges and your business, and maybe send you some customers. And so when, the whole saying is, if I scratch your back, you'll scratch mine, or vice versa. And it's one of those same things. We have to scratch each other's back. I got your back, bro. So anytime somebody says, hey, you know what? I'm struggling, or I have a challenge in my business, I immediately think, who do I know that can help that person? Who do I know that can solve that problem? Because he who solves a problem has money in his pocket. That's a quote that I made up years ago. He who solves a problem has money in his pocket. It's not about putting money in your pocket all the time, but it's about serving your fellow business owners and scratching their back because they scratch yours. And so let people know that you have their back as a way of showing loyalty to them. And it's nothing more, it's nothing greater than there's no bigger compliment to your business than to have a referral. Whether it's to fix a problem or whether it's to sell your product, there is no greater compliment to a business than a referral. And so doesn't it make sense that you should do everything you can to try to make so that you have a referral program, a referral source marketing, something that drives these referrals? So if you need help with that, we have a program that can help you put your referrals on steroids. And it's by far the best marketing strategy you've ever got. It's a little bit beside the point, but do you have back? Do you have your networks back? They need to know that as you want to know it as well. Number six, make meaningful connections for people to network with each other. So this can happen in a bunch of different ways. So it can also happen in the network meeting itself. Like you just met Joe and you meet Sally now, and you realize, hey, they're in the same industry. You might tell Sally, hey, do you know Joe? And she says, no, I don't know Joe. Well, let me introduce you to him. And so now you've connected two people in the same industry where they can start brainstorming together, but both of them think that you have their back because you've introduced them to somebody else. It's a powerful strategy to raise your elevation in business. People, like, if you can get people to think of you as a source of connections, of services, of other companies, of other products, if they call you and say, hey, do you know anybody that does this? You are in a good place, my friend. You need to do everything you can to be a connector with people, okay? Don't just say you love to be a connector. Like, I don't know how many people have told me that one of my greatest passions is to connect people with each other, and I never heard anything from them. They never connected me with people. You've got to do it if you say it, all right? So be a connector. Make meaningful connections to people to network with each other. So here's what you should, in fact, I wrote it down yesterday somewhere. I got to pull it up. The most important thing you can do in business is to connect deserving people with other deserving people. Couldn't read my own handwriting here, but I jotted it down as I was teaching yesterday. The most important thing you can do in business and building your business relationship is to connect deserving people with other deserving people. Not every person you know needs to know everyone that you know. Okay? Sometimes you have to go deeper before you can feel like you can open up some of your contacts and some of your friends. So the guy that wrote this book right here, Power of Who, Bob Bodine, he's the guy that told George W. Bush that you're not quite ready to buy the Texas Rangers. So Bob Bodine has some weight in the sports world. He's a sports recruiter. But he wrote this book, The Power of Who. And he told me one time, he says, David, you already know who you need to know to be uber successful. Now, uber means crazy successful. You already know who you need to know in order to be uber successful. And I said, so explain that to him. And he says, well, do you know everyone that I know? I said, of course not. He says, do I know everyone that you know? And I said, of course not. And he said, what would happen, Dave, if you and I would develop such a deep, meaningful relationship that I would feel comfortable in sharing my, and he said a word that a lot of young people don't even know what it is, Rolodex. Okay. Do you know what a Rolodex is? It's like it has a bunch of business cards in it. It's an old fashioned thing. Now we have, everything's stored on our phone. So it's like a phone book. But he said, would I feel comfortable if I went in deep with you? Would I feel comfortable sharing my other deep relationships? And I said, well, yeah, I would hope you would. He says, yes, I would. If we'd go deep enough, I could actually introduce you to George W. Bush. Okay. And he said, well, who do you know that you're not quite willing to introduce me to because you don't really know me that well? And I named off a few. And so it's just one of those things. You have to go deep with the people you already know, and then they will start referring you to people that they know. Because there's some relationships that I have that I'm just not going to just throw out there to everybody and say, go call him, because I value that relationship. I don't want to cheapen that relationship by spreading it all over the place. Does that make sense to everybody? So you have to make meaningful connections for people to network with each other. It was, recently somebody asked me if I know of anybody that is an investor. And I said, well, I can probably get you connected to Kevin Harrington, the original Shark Tank guy. And because I have some connections and I met him several times and it was crazy. Like my pilot is good friends with him. And so I was able to make that connection. And with somebody else, two deserving people, Kevin Harrington and my friend, they're now connected. Okay, so make meaningful connections, because when you are valuable to your network, I promise you, your net worth will go up. When you're valuable to your network, your net worth will go up. Connections is huge. I told you at the beginning, all of life, all of business is about relationships. It's all about relationships. Okay, let's move on. Number 7 is get more personable or personal. So find out about their life, find out about their family, ask them out for coffee. This is after you've established that, hey, we could do business together. Be willing to share experiences, ideas, viewpoints, simply learn more about each other's story. Did you know that every person has a story? What would happen? What would happen to our lives? What would happen to our businesses if we would just all of a sudden, every person that's hearing this would start asking people, hey, what's your story? What's your story? Listen, everyone has a story. And so get personal, like ask questions and remember, be vulnerable as well. That was point number 3, I think it was, or number 4. Be vulnerable. Also share your story. I think it was, I'll just tell you, there was a country singer that was friends with George Jones. And this country singer was in prison earlier in his life. And so he had a number attached to him. And he talked to George Jones and he was talking about his past and how he's trying to hide it from his concerts and not wanting people to know that he had a number to his name. He was a former inmate. And George Jones says, no, man, just tell everybody, tell your story, write about it. And that person was Merle Haggard. Merle Haggard almost did not become popular because he was going to hide the fact that he had a story. Your story is what makes you powerful. Your story is what attracts people to you. Your story is what people can identify with. because they can say, look at you, they can say, if he did it, if she did it, I can too. If she had to go through that to get this, then I can certainly go through that to get through to that. So that's the key thing. You want to make sure that that you tell your story and you get personable and you help other people be vulnerable with yourself as well. Point number 8: plan something fun to do together. Plan something fun to do together. All work and no play makes us dull. Okay, be willing to go out and do something fun together that may not have anything to do with work. So Monday, my good friend Luke Kipper and his wife, they're coming down from Orlando. They're on vacation, I think right now, but they're driving down, and we're just going to spend the day together, just doing fun stuff. No work. I blocked off the day. And I said, it's, that's how you build relationships. A little bit later in the month, we're going to be in Montana together, speaking together. So those are the kind of things that you have to do. You have to plan something fun. Here's a secret that I've had. I always have something to look forward to. I always have something to look forward to. So it might be next week motorcycle trip, or it might be, going to Key West in my new airplane, or it might be planning a trip to, wherever the first of the next year. But I always have something that I'm looking forward to, because when you look forward to something, you have anticipation. Anticipation builds energy, and energy, it gives you something to work for. I got to get this so that I can look forward to that. So plan to do something fun together. That's number 8. Number 9 is let go of expectations. I'm going to read what I have here. Always go into relationships with an open mind, realistic expectations, and never assume. All right. Have you ever started building a relationship and you thought this person was all that and then some, and then you found out that it wasn't? So just let go of all those expectations and realize people are human. People make mistakes. People forget. Like I can't pay to coach, and they pay good money to coach them, and then they forget that when their appointment is. It's okay. I've learned that it's okay to accept people the way they are, and let go of those expectations that things are always going to be perfect. So that's number 9. Number 10 is schedule brainstorming activities or time. Block out dedicated time to brainstorm, engage, and do business together. So set up a meeting. Say, hey, listen, I want to learn more about what you do, and let's brainstorm something. Let's create something together. This whole friendship between Luke Kipfer and myself has been going on now for 4 years. He's helped me tremendously. I've helped him tremendously. We've both grown together. And it all started with me asking him a question online. I said, what would a Dave Kauffman, Luke Kipfer event look like? And he messaged me back, said, let's get on a Zoom call and let's hammer it out. And now we've been doing these leadership summits all across the country, and we're going to Montana, and we're getting an Airbnb cabin and way up in the mountains with the bears, and it's going to be amazing. All right. If I see a bear, I promise you I'll do it live. All right. Schedule brainstorming times together. Best to set a regular time, a time limit, an agenda for what you want to accomplish in it. Leave some time for unexpected discussions. All right. And number 11, the last one here, is offer something before asking for something. Listen, if a relationship is all about feeding me, it's not a relationship. If a relationship is all about me winning, it's not a relationship. And so I have a quote. I'm going to see if I can find it. It's on my slides here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Not sure if I ever loaded it up. Give me a second. Yeah, I think that's one that I haven't loaded up, but I'll see if I can remember it. I wrote it a while back. Communication needs 2 things. Yeah, I can't find it in my slides here. Communication needs two things: compromise and communication. Learn to give and take. And the point that I was trying to make earlier with this number 11, offer something before asking for something. Here's my rule of thumb: 3 deposits before you ask for a withdrawal. So you give in a relationship before you ask anything back. And half the time you give, and by then he or she realizes that this is a relationship, and so they start giving back. So if you want referrals, start giving referrals. If you want reviews, start giving reviews. If you want, help, start giving help. Listen, we are too selfish as a society. We're too selfish as human beings. We have got to start looking out for the other people a little bit more in life and in business. And that's going to help us have strong, lasting relationships in our business. All right. So real quick, I'm going to recover all of them. And the first one is, let's see, I went too far on my slides here. Go back. 11 ways to build strong, lasting business relationships. Be authentic. Identify shared goals. Number 2. Number 3 is develop mutual respect. Number 4, share some vulnerability. Number 5, remember, I've got your back. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Number 6, make meaningful connections for people to network with each other. So the most important thing you can do in a business relationship is to connect a deserving person with another deserving person. And be that connector, be that resource. If people view you as a resource or a source of information, a source of knowledge, or a source of referrals, it's amazing what will happen to your business. Number 7, get more personal. Be more personal. Tell your story. Number 8, plan something fun to do together with that person you're building a relationship. It's not just about business. It's not just about making money. It's about building a relationship, because here, sooner or later, somebody else will come into his or her life and say, I can help you make more money. There's my friend Todd Saylor has this talk about there's BFSers. There's always somebody bigger, faster, stronger. And relationships is what keeps bigger, faster, and stronger people from taking over your relationships. Listen, relationships are the most powerful thing on the planet. Relationships. Number 9, let go of expectations. Understand people are going to make mistakes, and they're not always as good as what they think they are or what you think they are as well. Number 10, brainstorm ideas together. Schedule a brainstorming idea. Number 11, last but not least, offer something before asking for something. 3 deposits before a withdrawal. That's the formula that will build strong, lasting relationships in your business. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. I love you. Thanks for sharing this. And if you're watching the replay from now on, just write number 4. I want to know how many people are watching the replay. So if you're watching the replay, write number 7. If you're watching live, go ahead and comment number 3 right now. All right? 3 and 4. Thank you very much. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon.